What is Brahma Muhurta? And could you describe your personal morning routine?
I do have a very strong and very disciplined morning routine. And I studied love and happiness. So it's not as if I'm, going deep into the physiology of actually how I can have the best amount of muscle mass and minimum amount of body fat. Mm-hmm. I want to have more love and happiness in my life. And it's not easy. Mm-hmm. So I'm a specialist in human happiness because it's hard for me. That's the first thing. I know everybody who does research on happiness in the psychology, behavioral science world, they're doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
It's sort of me search more than research. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I've found is that discipline and an understanding of your own human physiology, the biology and neuroscience, is critical for actually becoming a happier person. So I have a morning routine that I dedicate to being both more productive and having higher well-being. So I'm managing mood because high negative affect is characteristic of my personality. And I also need to be really productive because the morning hours are when you're most productive, especially in creative stuff. Almost everybody experiences this. And that starts with what you just mentioned, which is called the Brahma Muhurta. And I've studied a lot in India. I go to India every year. I have spiritual teachers, but also I'm very interested in behavioral science in the Vedic tradition. They came to a lot of truths way before Western social science actually came upon this. And one of the ideas was Brahma Muhurta, which in Sanskrit means the creator's time. Now, a Muhurta is 48 minutes long. So 2 Muhurtas, the Brahma Muhurta is an hour and 36 minutes before dawn. And the whole idea, going back thousands of years, is you get up an hour and 36 minutes before dawn and you'll be more creative, more in touch with the divine, more productive, and happier. This was always the contention. So, of course, it's been put to the test in modern behavioral science research. And sure enough, we don't know if it's 2 Muhurtas is the right number of Muhurtas, but the whole point is getting up before dawn has incredible impacts on productivity, focus, concentration, and happiness. If you're getting up when the sun is warm, you've lost the first battle. For mood management and productivity is what it comes down to. So my days always start before dawn. Now, I usually set the clock for 4:30 in the morning, which is a lot before dawn.
Who knew that Jocko Willink was such a fan of Vedic traditions? He also wakes up at 4:30. Anyway, please continue.
4:30 is a good time for a lot of different reasons. You try to retrofit your schedule to what you need to do for sure. And that's a long time before dawn in the winter and not that long before dawn in the summer. And our listeners in Helsinki are like, what do I do in July? I mean, okay, you have to tailor the routines to what you're doing. But it's very clear that this is good for productivity and very good for happiness. And then the most important thing is, what do you do right after that?
Yeah, what do you do?
I pick up heavy things to run around.
Okay.
So
what does it look like?
Well, the most important room in my house is the gym. Mm-hmm. And I've always had a good gym in my house, down in the basement of my house. Now, down in the basement of my house is also living one of my kids and his wife and their 2 sons. So I have to be real quiet.
You have to lift heavy things very quietly.
I can't be clanking around down there because so I don't want to wake up my grandchildren. But I do, generally speaking, 2/3 resistance, 1/3 zone 2. Mm-hmm. But I tailor that to what my day is going to look like. So if I have a sedentary day, I'll do more zone 2 to start the day. And if I know I'm walking around campus or whatever I have to do, I know I'm going to be walking 7 or 10 miles that day. I'll do all resistance. Mm-hmm. And so that really depends. Or if I'm going on a hike with my wife on Saturday or something. But that's 7 days a week. I do an hour in the gym 7 days a week.
What would let's just say, prototypical 2/3 resistance, 1/3 zone 2, or whatever the ratio might look like as a template? What would that look like? Like, what type of exercises, free weights equipment, kettlebells? What type of zone 2 do you like? Because, for instance, like with zone 2, it's like I travel a lot. Stationary bikes can be a real hassle because of the fitting. But then, all right, maybe you use a treadmill with an incline with a rucksack or something like that. I'd just love to know the specifics.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very old school. So my resistance training, actually, I learned the routines that I do when I was in my 30s. I really started lifting when I was in my 30s. And, my dad died and I changed a lot of the things in my life. I quit drinking alcohol in my 30s and I did a lot of things differently than I hadn't done before because I wanted to not have the future that I saw in the windshield of my life. And one of the things that I did was I started getting serious about my fitness and going to the gym. And I thought to myself, what's my goal? My goal is not to, turn into a statue and, be admired. I mean, I'd been married for a long time at that point. Yeah. I mean, that was sort of done. And besides, my wife doesn't care. She just wants to be happy and healthy. I wanted to be doing that in my 70s. I wanted to be healthy in my 70s. I wanted to be hanging out with my wife and, dandling my 11th grandchild on my knee when I was 78 years old. So what I did was I've always been on tour. I've always traveled constantly all throughout my career. Every city I'd go to, I'd find the oldest iron gym I could find. Why? Because that's where the old dudes train. That's where like the shredded guys train. Yeah. And now I'm the old guy, right? Yeah. So my wife says that sleeping with me is like holding a leather sack of ropes. Which is, I think it's a compliment. I'm not sure, but I've been married decades, Tim, decades. But I would go to these iron
it's better
gyms.
Than a leather sack of lard, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. It's like ropes. Yeah. And it's I'd go to these gyms where 78-year-old guys who are completely shredded. Mm-hmm. They look like, old roosters. And they're working out. And I would say, teach me, maestro, sensei. Teach me what you do. And they would give me this advice, and I followed that advice assiduously. And so what it is I'm old school, push, pull legs, don't use a bar.
And is it push-pull legs every workout?
No, it's push-pull legs on different days.
Got it.
So it's not a pure bro split, but it's near on, right? Mm-hmm. Making sure that you're not getting heroic with the amount of weight. You're making sure that you're using dumbbells and not bars because you can get full range of motion. Be super careful about your joints. If you have any pain in your joints, you back off. You do, for volume, you do more reps as opposed to more weight. Mm-hmm. And always be doing it that way and dial it down the actual weight, dialing up the reps as you get older. And these are these basic ideas. So it's push-pull legs, and then I'm doing usually somewhere between 20 minutes and 40 minutes of zone 2 cardio, which I have an elliptical machine because it's super easy on the joints. Yeah. And every hotel's got an elliptical machine. I've got a nice elliptical machine at home, and that's what I'm doing. And this is an hour. A lot of the time I'm doing it without headphones. It's important because you need to concentrate to begin with, that's your most creative time. That's like taking an hour-long shower. You get your best ideas if you work out without headphones. There's a lot of good neuroscience on that as well. And that's 4:45 to 5:45 in the morning every single day. That's the one thing I can really count on that's always going to be good. Always going to be good.
Do you record your workouts?
Videotape my workouts?
No, in any type of like workout journal, or is it so intuitive at this point that you're like, I really know since I'm using dumbbells, and dumbbells should be consistent from place to place.
I can tell you what I did on this day in 2001.
Meaning you remember it?
No. Meaning it's written down.
Okay.
Meaning it's written down.
Wait a second.
Yeah, no. I'm not.
There are some people who are like that.
Sort of a Rain Man deal. Yeah.
Well, for instance, people you wouldn't expect. Arnold Schwarzenegger loves chess. And when I first interviewed him, I was talking to his right-hand man. He said, he plays chess daily with X number of people over the course of a week or two. And he keeps track of every game and every score in his head.
That's amazing. So no, I'm not doing that. Yeah. But I can tell you, I have journals that go back. I write it down. Yeah, and so I know, what's on what day and, what I did. There's a whole lot of things that I keep records of for sure, just so I understand my own progress in life, making sure I'm not making regress in life. And for some reason, I got into the pattern of writing down every single workout going back, until back to my 30s.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And now I'm 61 years old. So that's a lot of date books.
Yeah, I have workouts going back to 16, and I still have all of them. Yeah, I don't know why I keep them, but I have them.
I can tell you behaviorally why people do that. What you want is record of progress, because that's one of the great secrets to human happiness. Mm-hmm. You never arrive. Arrival gives you almost nothing, but it's progress toward the goal. Mm-hmm. And this is a record of Tim's progress going all the way back to 16. It's evidence that you're a better man than when you were 16 years old.
Let's hope. Certainly not as strong as I was when I was in my 20s, but still zone 2.
Yeah.
Not dying.
No. Yeah.
Things like this.
No, it's fantastic. It's really a great way to start the day. And there's a lot of research, once again, on this is especially important for mood management. So half of the population is above average in negative affect. Mm-hmm. Negative affect is strong negative manifestation of mood. Yeah. And obviously, if it's the median, half has to be above that and half has to be below. And I'm way above average in negative affect. Yeah. I'm above average in positive affect too. Yeah, you're a mad scientist, which is typically...
I'm a poet. We talked about this last time.
We did this. You are a poet. So you're below average positive.
Below average positive, high peak negative.
High peak negative. So I'm at the 90th percentile in negative mood.
Yeah.
And there are ways, typical ways that people self-manage negative mood that are really, really bad for you. Yeah. Like drugs and alcohol, like internet use, like pornography. Horrible negative mood management. Workaholism. Awful. People distract themselves because they're, the amygdala of the brain is what largely manages fear and anger. But the amygdala also manages attention. And so if you can distract yourself with something you can count on, like your work, what you're effectively doing is you're managing your anger and fear by redirecting the activity of the amygdala.
Sounds right. Checks out.
But there's good ways to do it. Like you're working, like developing your spirituality and picking up heavy things and running around.